Okay friends, now we move on to the next important topic, that is the Gupta Age. It is often hailed as the golden period of Indian architecture. While the earlier Gupta rulers were Buddhists and continued the traditions of Buddhist architecture, temple architecture came to the fore under the patronage of the Hindu rulers of the later Gupta phase. The temple architecture reached its climax during this period. Similarly, Buddhist and Jain art also reached its peak during the Gupta age. Gupta rulers, especially in the later phase, were Brahminical rulers. However, they showed exemplary tolerance for other religions also. The three principal deities that were worshipped were Vishnu in the north and central India, Shiva in the south part, and Shakti in the eastern part of India, as well as in the Malabar coast or southwestern part of India. Moving on, the architectures. During the Gupta period, the architectural development of the caves remained constant. However, the use of mural paintings on the walls of the caves became an added feature. Some of the finest examples of mural paintings can be found in Ajanta and Elora. Ajanta Caves. It is a series of rock-cut caves in the Sahyadri ranges on the Saughaura river near Aurangabad in Maharashtra. There are a total of 29 caves, of which 25 are used as viharas or residential caves. 4 were used as chaityas or prayer halls. The caves were developed in the period between 200 BC to 650 AD. Ajanta Caves were inscribed by the Buddhist monks under the patronage of the Vakataka kings, Harisena being one of the most prominent ones. Friends, this is very important, okay, as to which rulers built the Ajanta Caves. The figures in these caves were done using fresco painting and demonstrate considerable naturalism. The colors were obtained from local vegetation and materials. The outlines of the paintings were done in red color and then the inside were painted. One of the striking features is the absence of blue color. Why blue color, friends? Because blue was not available. Either it had to be imported via a lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, or they had to be extracted from indigo. Indigo grows in regions of surplus rainfall like eastern Bihar, but not in dry regions of Maharashtra and the parts of the Western Ghats. Okay friends, moving on. The paintings were generally themed around Buddhism, the life of Buddha and the Jataka stories. Of the 29 caves, 5 were developed during the Hinayana phase, while the 24 were developed during the Mahayana phase of Buddhism. The reference of Ajanta Caves can be found in the travel accounts of Buddhist travelers like Fa Hein and Hyun Sang. Some prominent sculptures of the Ajanta Caves are Mahaparinirvana of Buddha in cave number 26 and the Naga king and his consort in cave number 19. Okay friends, moving on. The technique of painting. The paintings were done using the Fresco method. What is the Fresco method? With regard to the Fresco method, it involved a three-step technique, friends. What is this three-steps technique means? A layer of clay mixed with cow dung and rice husk was applied on the surface of the rock. A coating of lime plaster was then applied on top of it. The colors and pigments were then applied on the moist surface. This allowed the pigments to seep in and create a lasting image on rock surface. Some of the examples are Dying Princess and Flying Apsara. Next comes the Elora Caves. The Elora Caves is another important site of cave architecture. It is located only 100 kilometers from Ajanta in the Sahyadri ranges of Maharashtra. It is a group of 34 caves, of which 17 are Brahminical, 12 are Buddhist and 5 are Jainis. These set of caves were developed during newer as compared to Ajanta by various guilds from Vidarbha, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Hence the caves reflect the natural diversity in the themes and architectural styles. Cave 1 to 12 about Buddhism, cave 13 to 29 Hinduism, cave 30 to 34 Jainism. Some of the prominent caves in Elora are cave number 10 is a Buddhist Chaitya cave known as Vishwakarma cave or the Carpenter's cave. Buddha is seated in the Vyakhyana Mudra here and Bodhi tree is carved at his back. Cave number 14 is Ravan Ki Khai. Cave number 15 is Dashavatar temple. Cave number 16 is Kailash temple dedicated to Lord Shiva. It is developed under the patronage of the Rashtrakuta king Krishna I and carved out of a monolith and even has a courtyard. In cave number 16 there is also a sculpture on the wall of Kailash temple depicting Ravana shaking Mount Kailasha. This is the friends, this is the Kailasha Shiva and Parvati, this is Ravana shaking that Mount Kailash. It is considered one of the masterpieces of Indian sculpture. Dhumar Lena in cave 29, Rameshwar temple in cave 21. The two famous Jain caves are Indra Sabha cave 32 and Jagannath Sabha cave number 33. Bach Caves, located on the banks of river Bach in Madhya Pradesh, is a group of 9 Buddhist caves developed around the 16th century AD. Is architecturally very similar to the Ajanta Caves. What is required is where are the Bach Caves? It's in Madhya Pradesh. Next comes Junagadh Caves. These are Buddhist caves located in Junagadh district of Gujarat. They are not actually caves, but 3 different sites can be found, that is Khapra Khodia, Baba Pyare and Upperkot. The unique feature of the Jagannath Caves is the presence of 30 to 50 feet high citadel known as Upperkot in front of the prayer hall. Mandapeshwar Caves, located in Borivali near Mumbai, is also known as Montpellier Caves. It was developed in the late Gupta period as a Brahminical cave. However, it was later converted into a Christian cave. The remains of the site includes sculptures of Nataraja, Sadashiva and Ardhanarishwara. The church and its graveyard are situated above the cave precincts. Udaigeri Caves. Friends, these Udaigeri Caves are different from the Udaigeri Khandahari Caves of Orissa. Okay, Udaigeri Caves are found in Vidisha, Madhya Pradesh. Created in early 5th century AD under the patronage of Chandragupta II, it was famous for having numerous sculptures in the hill walls. The sculptures of Varaha or boar incarnation of Vishnu is notable. The caves have one of the earliest Hindu sculptures, and it also has caves dedicated to Shiva, Narasimha, Narayana and Skanda. Stupas. The Gupta Age saw a decline in the development of stupas. However, Dhamek Stupa at Sarnath near Varanasi is an example of stupa developed during this period. Okay friends, moving on. Important ancient inscriptions and edicts. Saughaura copper plate. The earliest known copper plate, known as the Saughaura copper plate, is a Mauryan record that mentions famine relief efforts. It was one of the very few pre-Ashokan Brahmi inscriptions in India. Next comes the Ashokan Edicts. The Edicts of Ashoka are a collection of 33 inscriptions on pillars of Ashoka as well as boulders and cave walls made by Emperor Ashoka of the Mauryan Empire during his reign from 269 BC to 232 BC. These inscriptions were dispersed throughout the country and it represents the first tangible evidence of Buddhism. The edicts describe in detail the Ashoka's view about dharma to solve the severe problems faced by the complex society. Now the edicts are divided into pillar edicts, that is the major rock edicts, 14 edicts, that is termed first to 14, and 2 separate ones were found in Odisha. The major inscriptions, the minor edicts, the Queen's Edict, the Barabar Cave inscription and the Kandahar bilingual inscription. These inscriptions shows Ashoka's devotion towards Buddhist philosophy. The inscriptions show his efforts to spread and develop Buddhist dharma throughout his kingdom. The edicts mainly focus on social and moral precepts rather than specific religious practices or philosophical dimensions of Buddhism. The inscriptions revolve around few themes: Ashoka's conversion to Buddhism, the description of his efforts to spread Buddhism, his moral and religious precepts, and his social and animal welfare programs. In these inscriptions, Ashoka refers himself to as the beloved servant of God, that is Devanama Piyadasi. The identification of Devanam Piyadasi with Ashoka was confirmed by an inscription at Maski. The inscriptions found in the eastern part of India were written in Magadhi Prakrit using Brahmi script. Friends, the script is very important, okay? It's a Brahmi script. Ruminde Pillar Edicts, Lumbini. These inscriptions come under the minor pillar inscriptions. These contain the inscriptions recording their dedication. The inscriptions mentions Ashoka's visit to Lumbini, that is Ruminde. Ruminde is Lumbini. Rupandehi district, Nepal, the birthplace of Lord Buddha. Ashoka exempted Lumbini from paying tax and fixed its contribution of grain to 1/8. The inscriptions were written in Brahmi script. Prayag Prashasti. Prayag Prashasti is the name given to the Allahabad pillar. Prayag means the meeting place of for something or someone. Prayag is the ancient name of Allahabad, that is the meeting place or sangam of the rivers of Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati river. Prashasti means in praise of someone and is a eulogy. The Allahabad Prashasti was originally engraved on Ashokan pillar in Kausambi near Allahabad. Later it was removed to the Allahabad fort. It is an Ashokan stump that has 4 different inscriptions, that is the usual Ashokan inscription Brahmi script in all pillars. The Queen's edict regaling the charitable deeds of Ashoka's wife Kaurvaki, Samudragupta's 335 to 375 AD, during the period in which he reigned. Inscriptions were written by Harisena in Sanskrit. The language was Brahmi script. The mentions about the conquest of Samudragupta, the boundaries of the Gupta Empire. Next, Jahangir's inscription, Persian. Next is the Mehruli inscription. Mehroli iron pillar is located in Delhi in the Qutub Minar complex. It is a notable of the resistant composition of the metals used in its construction. This pillar was established by Chandragupta II of the Gupta dynasty as Vishnupada in honor of Lord Vishnu. This pillar credits Chandragupta with conquest of Vanga countries by his battling alone against the confederacy of enemies united against him. It also credits him for the conquest of Vakatakas in a fight that ran across 7 mouths of the river Indus. Next comes Khalsi inscription. Khalsi town is known for its heritage importance. It is a small town located in between Charkrata and Dehradun on the banks of river Yamuna. The site of Ashoka's inscription at Khalsi is singularly unique. It is the only place in North India where the great Mauryan emperor has inscribed the set of 14 rock edicts. The language of these edicts is Prakrit and the script is Brahmi. The rock edict was written around 450 BC and is made of quartz, which is 8 feet broad and 10 feet long. These rock edicts reflect Ashoka's human approach in his internal administration when he converted himself to Buddhism. It also reflects the policies for the commitment of non-violence and restriction of war. The inscription also tells us about his life when he took the path of spirituality. Next comes Maski inscription. Maski is a village and an archaeological site in Raichur district of Karnataka. It lies on the banks of river Maski, which is a tributary of Tungabhadra. The site has a minor rock edict of Emperor Ashoka. It is the first edict of Emperor Ashoka that contained the name of Ashoka instead of Devanam Priya or Piyadasi. The inscription remains a Dharma Shasana and tells the people to follow the tenets of Buddhism. Moreover, the inscription also suggests the spread of Mauryan rule to the Krishna valley of northeastern Karnataka. Kalinga edicts. Kalinga is present Odisha, still stands as a tall witness of its 1000-year-old legacy. Kalinga war was the turning point of Ashoka's career, and he not only gave up his ambition of Digvijaya but also decided to take path of non-violence and to follow Buddhism. A set of rock edicts contain 11 out of the well-known 14 edicts of Ashoka. The language of the edicts is Magadhi Prakrita and the script is being early Brahmi. In place of the 11th, 12th and 13th rock edicts, 2 special edicts known as separate rock edicts or Kalinga edicts have been incorporated, which are peacemaking in nature and are meant for pacification of the newly conquered people of Kalinga. Next comes Eyehole inscription. Eyehole in Karnataka was the first capital of Chalukyas. The many inscriptions found at Eyehole, but the inscription found at the Meguti temple, popularly known as the Eyehole inscription, witnessed many historical events of Chalukyas. The inscription is written in Sanskrit and it is in Kannada script. There is a mention about the defeat of Harshavardhana by Pulikeshin II and the victory of Chalukyas over Pallavas. Also mentions about the shifting of the capital from Eyehole to Badami. They were written by Ravi Kirti, the court poet of Pulikesi II, who ruled from 610 to 642 CE. Next comes Hearty Gumpa inscription. The Hearty Gumpa inscription is known as the Elephant Cave inscription from Udaigeri and Khandagiri Caves of Odisha. It were inscribed by King Karavela during the 2nd century BC. The Hearty Guppa inscription consists of 17 lines in Prakrit language and in Brahmi script. The Hearty Gumpa inscription at Udaigeri Caves is the main source of information about Kalinga ruler Karavela. Hearty Gupta inscription is like history of Karavela as king, a conqueror, patron of culture and champion of Jainism. Friends, with this we have finished first part of our chapter on ancient Indian history. Now we will move on to the next chapter, that is now we look into the temple architecture of ancient and medieval. Friends, in this course we have combined ancient medieval with art and architecture also, so that the classes are smooth, you are able to revise the topics pretty quickly. This is how we have designed it. Okay friends, be assured that what we are teaching is more than enough and you can sail through the exam very easily. Confidently practice your tests. We will meet for the discussion. Okay friends, thank you very much. Have a great day.